Hey, this is Notser, and this is the Tier 6 British Premium Battleship Warspite. It has 8 main guns, 16 secondary guns, 51 AA guns, a top speed of 23.5 knots, total hull 53,800. For my modules, reduced crit chance on main battery, faster turret traverse, lower chance of flood and fire, faster fire and flood repair. For my commander, situation awareness, basic survivability, faster turret traverse, and superintendent. We are on the map Two Brothers, and it took me way too long to find a Warspite game worthy of sharing. This is actually the first game in the Warspite that I had the faster turret traverse module loaded up. I had been using the accuracy module, and quite frankly, the turret traverse is so awful that I would find myself turning and not having access to it ever. So, we tried a faster turret traverse, and this is the game that came out of it. Enemy Isukaze is moving away. He sends out torpedoes, and it looks like a couple of the sets might hit me, so I'm going to try and turn towards the torpedoes to get my butt out of the way. We miss with our salvo on the enemy Isukaze. Not exactly easy. He's moving away, and he's a destroyer, so I didn't expect much. But an enemy Cleveland is headed into the area, and he is not maintaining good angling. So we fire all batteries on the enemy Cleveland, and conveniently he softens the angle. We get 19,000 points of damage with our Citadel penetration. I take a quick check at the friendly cruiser, and he's taking a pounding, so we're going to try and move to position ourselves kind of in between as long as we can. We're waiting on the really long cooldown, and oh boy, he's so low. Come on, guns, get up so we can kill the Cleveland. So the module has nerfed the rate of fire by about 5 seconds, give or take, on the reload cycle. So it's a lot harder to try and kill the enemy. Never mind, it's actually quite easy. It's a lot harder to have the DPS that is sufficient to kill the enemy. But as long as you're accurate and you're able to land your salvos, you could take out targets, like the Cleveland. We know there's an Isukaze in the area, 2 battleships, and there's something behind that island. Ah, it's a Carl. The Carl. Well, we know that's a garbage ship. I can't say it any nicer than that. So we're going to pick on it. Enemy Carl is 12 kilometers away. He's moving slightly away from me, or I'm moving slightly away from him. We fire with elevation, and we're able to get another Citadel. 14,000 points of damage. Nice. You know, I was spamming the Warspite because I just wanted that video to share on my channel, give my thoughts on it, and it was going to be a bad game. It was going to be frustration and just not viable, just not a ship worthy of playing when you compare it to all the other ships available. But if you build it the right way, and for me, I like to minimize the weaknesses of my ships. I think if I get all my ships up to a certain bar, a standard, then I should be able to take anyone on. I would rather have a ship that is B+ across the board than have a A+ in the damage per gun and a D- on the turret rotation. I just feel like that kind of defeats the purpose. There's so many factors that you need to consider, and you're not going to be able to have full control over every single situation you're going to be in. So I might as well be super solid in every single situation and allow my skill to overcome the potential weaknesses of the damage output, or maybe I'm at a really far range trying to fire on an enemy Fuso, and he's got way better gun systems than I do, in my opinion. Faster rate of fire, more total guns, but we're able to land 11,000 points of damage, and I'm just scratching my head. I'm like, I unmounted the accuracy module, and I'm having more accurate shots than I've ever had in this ship. It's just one of those things. You'll get the right dispersion in the right moment, and you'll get the worst dispersion in the worst possible moment. And an enemy Isukaze comes back. He sends torpedoes, and we know he's there. Friendly is spotting him, so we're going to set up our next salvo on him. We didn't have time to switch, obviously. So this is AP, and we're trying to track. 4,300 with the first set. a measly 1,000 with the second. Come on, kill him. We fire both, and we're able to completely destroy him. A total damage of roughly 7,000 points of damage between all the sources. So yeah, see you later, Isokaze. And we really needed to do that because a destroyer is very powerful against this particular ship because of the turret traverse of the guns. The turret traverse is a challenge, to say the least, so it's hard to track certain targets if they're close or moving rapidly. Now the enemy Carl is about to round this island. He knows I'm here. I know he's there. The enemy Warspite is probably going to fire on my position, but we're going to hold and fire on the enemy Carl. Here's the Carl. Good to see ya. We fire all guns. We don't really lead as well as we should have. And we probably needed to depress the guns slightly. They were a little high on the target. We only did 3,000 points of damage in a scenario where we basically should be able to kill him. So we're going to take damage for an extended period of time. Friendly Congo. Will he finish the Carl off? He fires all his guns, and his aim is a little bit off. He lands one round and barely doesn't kill the Carl, so this is just one round needs to make contact. Seems like all of them were going to make contact because we had much better aim. And that is 3 enemy ships. Way more than most of my games. Most of my games I would get 1, maybe 2, and I couldn't keep up with the enemy. This is a slow ship. It's only 2 knots faster than most US battleships at this tier, so you do have to kind of predict where the enemy is going to go. And we see the enemy Fuso trying to run away. It can only mount a scout plane, so you can't protect it with a fighter. Keep that in mind. One cool feature of this particular ship is it has the ability to heal critical damage. So Superintendent is even better in this ship than any other battleship in the game. It is mandatory. First tier 3 skill you get. Superintendent, you want that heal because it heals for so much. The heal's back up. I have availability to use it. I fire on the enemy, and we're probably going to land maybe 1 or 2. He's very narrow. It's not an easy shot, obviously, but I might as well not waste the cooldown. 2,000, okay. But you can see how much it's healing. We are nearly back above 40,000 points of damage, and at one point we were 50% life, so yeah. Heal, very important. Superintendent, very useful. So the enemy Warspite is the only enemy ship that we have range on, really. The enemy Fuso, of course, is behind an island, a giant island, I might add, so there's no way we're going to hit it. We're going to try and get in line of sight of the enemy Warspite. And one of my greatest weaknesses is being too greedy. I will accept that it is a long-range shot. It's going to be hard to hit, but 9 times out of 10, I will try and angle my ship and use all guns nearly every single time, and this gets me in trouble most of the time. So I'm really trying to just take what the game will give me. We'll use our front guns on the enemy Warspite. He's moving away at an angle, so we elevate and we lead. We might get 1 or 2 landing on target. The only shell that landed on target was a shell that ricocheted, so no damage to the enemy Warspite. Friendly Mutsuki sends out torpedoes, probably not going to be successful. Anytime you're trying to send torpedoes at a target that's moving away at a fairly rapid pace, it's going to be hard to predict their movement, and it gives them a lot of time to minimize their profile. And we take fire from, I believe, the Warspite. The Warspite is loading HE, and I tried that. Some games, we land another 2,000 on the Fuso, just tickling the armor, you know, not enough to really matter. And this is pretty frustrating. I cannot move fast enough to keep up with these ships. It's a little pathetic, but again, it's a tier 6 premium British battleship. It's the only British thing in the game, period, which is honestly shocking considering the size of their navy. You would think they would add something. I realize they don't want to do the whole line, but there's got to be something premium that someone would want at some point, right? We fire on the Fuso. We get 6,000 points of damage. Okay, that's more respectable. We incapacitate a gun, I believe, and the gun will be up when it matters, so, you know, whatever. Heal is available, of course, but at points you gotta be careful not to overheal. You kinda wanna heal when you've taken pretty good damage. It can't heal all of it, of course. So we're gonna hold, maybe drop below 50%, and then heal again. At that point, we have taken most of the damage required to fully max out that heal. And, oh, nice. Those are hard shots. Nearly 100% straight away, and we're able to land 4,000 points of damage with plunging fire. And oh no, here comes the gun. So we're trying to rotate. And what the hell? Immediately, I look at that Mutsuki. He fired on my position. We also use our heal. And I was uneasy. He could easily wipe me out. Yeah, definitely could easily wipe me out with torpedoes. So I'm just like, you know what? Go ahead. I don't know what you guys are doing. And I also kind of was suspicious of the Kuma. I was like, really? This is how it's going to go down? I'm having so much success in this particular game on the Warspite, and you want to ruin it by team killing? So now everyone is an enemy. Don't take anything for granted. I need to immediately dodge any torpedoes that might come my way. That's the way I'm playing right now, and we take a huge shot from the enemy Fuso, showing a little bit too much of our side. We took a citadel, obviously, with the ringing in my ear that hurts like hell. Enemy Warspite fires on our position. He sets us on fire, and immediately I'm going to use my damage control because I'm not putting up with any of that. Now, I had tried the HE method, and it just didn't give me as much as AP. It does have a above average chance to set the target on fire, but its damage and AP is very high. It's worth it in every scenario where you can get consistent AP damage, which we try to on the enemy Warspite. He's showing a lot of his side. A lot of ricochets. I saw at least 2 ricochets on that salvo alone. Only do 3,800 hit points. The Mutsuki is actually too far forward, and he is spotted by the enemy Warspite. This is not good. The Warspite is on fire. We are almost reloaded. The Kuma is overextended too. Anytime you're in a situation where you're trying to support a battleship, you need to keep in mind the speed of the battleship, okay? I cannot move forward very quickly. Oh, yes! Straight on, 13,000 points of damage. I'll take that. And the friendly is trying. This looks like a torpedo attack. Let's see if it's successful. Come on. Take out the enemy. He's like point blank at this point. Are you going to send him? Why didn't you send him? You... What? He didn't have torpedoes for that? He was like half a kilometer away. Okay. And right as I'm reloaded, he disappears. The Mutsuki has gone into the smoke and cannot, obviously, detect any ships. So I'm like, I was ready to rake the side of the battleship and devastate his entire health pool, but it just didn't go my way. He's able to sneak past the line of the island, and I cannot engage him. I have to go past the island. So we fully engage the propulsion units on the vessel. We also choose to use our heal, even though potentially we could have gotten more out of it if we would have held it a little bit longer. That is a weakness that I would like to improve with my battleships, is realizing how much damage I've taken and how much I can heal. I need to pay a little bit more attention of the heavy, moderate, and light damage warnings that you get at the bottom of the screen. Heavy damage is very hard to heal, where light damage is very easy to heal. So we are slowly going around the island. We feel like the Warspite's going to be showing his side. And we're ready to go. We're detected. Oh, yes. We're both facing each other. All batteries fire. And we're able to do 17,000. No citadel penetration. He's barely alive. He fired on us and only did 1,000, 2,000 points of damage, 17 to 1 odds. I like those odds, okay? I like having the ability to do 17,000 when he is only able to do 1,000 or 2,000. And at this point, I just assume he has a faster reload, right? I have a module that slows mine down, so I'm going to make as harsh an angle as I can. I only need my front guns, and we completely destroy that Warspite. We did 100% of the health pull on that ship, and it feels really good. So, only the enemy Fuso and some other ship that exists on the map. We don't see him, obviously. We have this game pretty much locked up. 2 minutes left in the battle. He fires, he does a lot of damage, he gets high caliber. So this is a little dangerous. If I die, that's 60 points for the enemy, 60 points deducted for my team. So it swings to 520 for my team and 450 for their team, and that's a little close. If we lose maybe a destroyer, maybe this battleship here, they could win. So I need to be kind of cautious. I don't want to be in a situation where I'm taking fire from 2 battleships. So what I'm going to do is something I rarely ever do because it seems so ridiculous. We're going to come to a complete stop. The New Mexico misses because he obviously assumed we would just continue forward. We have all guns ready to fire. We fire on the enemy New Mexico broadside. We lead the target slightly because we see he's moving, but not too much because he's a U.S. battleship. We get 9,800 points of damage. Not bad. Half of our rounds made contact with the enemy ship. Now, you might say, why not go after the Fuso? The Fuso is lower health. Well, the Fuso requires that I open up my ship even more to bring more guns onto the target. So I would prefer to minimize the damage I take and just in the game, because we have the game won as long as I don't die. The enemy New Mexico fires on my position, and he predicted we would continue backing up, but we just want to stall until the end and get a little bit more damage. We're able to get Confederate just as the game is coming to a close, and oh boy, finally, a Warspite game worth sharing. So let's see, we know we got 4 kills, couple Citadel, oh yes, 500,000 in credits, that's the income I want. We got high caliber, Dreadnought, Confederate, 2,119 base XP. Yeah, this was a hard carry from the Warspite. It's a ship that can, but you have to find the right moment, I would say. Let's see how much damage we did. Oh my goodness! We did 155,000 points of damage, roughly. Obviously, this is an exceptional game. Most of my games, 1, maybe 2 kill, and 50-50 on wins, losses. It just is difficult to impose your will with this ship. It's slow, turrets rotate slow, but in the right situation, you can excel. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you next time.